Inda sarva karana karanam chintamani prakara sadma sukalpa briksha laksha pratesu surabhira vipadayantam lakshmi sahasra shata sambrahma sevyamanam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami venum kanvantam aravinda dalaya taksham barhavatam samasitam buddhasundarangam kandarpakoti kamaniya vishesha shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhaj. Alo the Chandrakala Sadvana Malya Vangshi Ratnangadam Pranaya Keli Kalavilasam Shamam Tribangalalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sat Ujvala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitam Achyutimanadi Manantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedesha Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhaktau Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Fantastakoti Shatavatsara Sampragamyo Vayoratapi Manasamuni Pungavanam Sopyasti Yadpapadasinya Vichincha Tatve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Eko Prasavrachayatam Jagadanda Kotim Yat Shakti Rasti Jagadanda Chayaya Dantaha Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yad Bhava Bhava Tariyoma Najasta Taiva Samprapya Rupa Mahimasha Nayana Bhushaha Suktaira Yameva Nigama Pratitaistavanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavi Tabis Tabirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalabihi Goloka Eva Nivisatya Kilatma Bhoto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santaksa Daiva Hridayesha Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achinta Ganasarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murtu Shukalani Amena Tishtan Nana Vatara Makaron Vaneshu Kinto Krishnak Swayam Sambhabak Paramak Pamanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti Kotishva Shesha Vasudari Vibhoti Binnam Tad Brahma Nishkalamanantam Shesha Bhotam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Maya Hiyasya Jagadanda Shatani Sutte Trigunya Tadvishaya Veda Vitayamana Sattva-valambi Parasatvam Vishuddha Sattvam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasamataya Manakso Yat Praninam Paniparam Smaratamapetya Leelayatena Bhuvanani Jagat Yajasram Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Goloka Namni Nitadamni Tale Chatasya Devi Mahesha Haridama Suteshu Teshu Te Te Prabhava Nichayavi Hitashayena Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Shristi Sati Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga Ichchanurupam Api Yasya Tates Tatesa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Kshiram Yatadati Vikara Vishesha Yoga Sanjayate Nahitatak Pratagasti Hektoho Yaksham Bhutam Apitatasam Upaiti Karyat Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Deepadarshya Eva Hidasham Taram Abhyupetya Deepayateva Vritahetu Samana Dharma Yastadra Eva Hisha Vishnu Taya Vibhati Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yatkara Narnava Jale Bhajati Sma Yoga Nidramananta Jagadanda Saroma Kupaha Adara Shaktim Avalamya Param Swamurtim Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasyaika Nishvasita Kalamatavalamya Jivanti Loma Vidaja Jagadandanataha Vishnur Mahaji Yasya Kalabhishesho Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Bhasvanya Tankshma Sakaleshu Najesha Tejaha Sriyam Kiyat Prakariyat Tadvitad Vadatra Brahmaya Isha Jagadanda Vidhana Karta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yat Pala Pallava Yugam Vinidhayat Kumbha Dvanve Pranama Samaye Saganadi Rajaha Vihan Vihantam Arabasya Jagatrayasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Agnir Mahit Ambarudashascha Kalastatat Ramanasita Jagatrayani Yasmad Bhavanti Vibhavanti Vishanti Yangcha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Yaschakshur Esha Sapita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samastra Suramurti Rashesha Tejaha Yasyagya Brahmati Sambrita Kala Chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Dharmo Tapapa Nichaya Shrutayasta Pangsi Brahmadi Kita Patagava Dayascha Jivaha Yadatra Prakata Prabhava Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yastvindra Gopa Matavendram Ahosva Karma Pandanurupa Palabhajanam Atanoti Karmadi Nirdahita Kintucha Bhakti Bhajam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yam Krodha Kama Sahaja Pranayadi Viti Vatsalya Moha Gura Gaurava Sevya Bhavai Sanjin Yatasha Sadrashim Tanam Aparete Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Shri Akanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpataravo Drama Bhumis Chintamani Ganama Itayam Amritam Kataganam Natyam Ganamam Apivangshi Priyasaki Chiranandam Jyoti Paramapitadas Vadyam Apicha Sa Yatra Kshiradbhi Shravati Sarabi Vyasya Sumahan Nimeshad Yakyova Vrajati Nahi Yatrapi Samaya Vaje Shweta Dvipam Tamaham Iha Golokam Nityam Vidantaste Shantashati Virala Charakati Paye Ishara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. I'm going to speak something and then we'll perform the yajna. A few somethings. One something is there's a nice section of Srimad Bhagavatam where we saw it yesterday evening. The Navayogendras are answering Maharaj Nemi's questions. And one of the questions is the topic of Diksha. Canto 11, Chapter 3. Text 22. Accepting the bona fide spiritual master as one's life and soul and worshipable deity, the disciple should learn from him the process of pure devotional service. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, the soul of all souls, is inclined to give himself to his pure devotees. Therefore, the disciple should learn from the spiritual master to serve the Lord without duplicity and in such a faithful and favorable way that the Supreme Lord, being satisfied, will offer himself to the faithful disciple. And the purport from Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, the Lord's tendency to give himself to his pure devotee is demonstrated in the case of Bali Maharaj. Srila Jiva Goswami comments that the spiritual master is to be considered the Atma, or the very life of the disciple, since real life begins when one is initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. Although one may experience many seemingly wonderful or important events in a dream, one's real life begins when he wakes up. Similarly, since the spiritual master gives birth to the disciple by awakening him to spiritual life, the bona fide disciple understands that his spiritual master is the very basis of his life. And the final paragraph. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the reservoir of all pleasure, and thus the Lord's giving himself to a pure devotee indicates that such a devotee becomes immersed in the highest possible ecstasy. In this connection, there is the following Shruti mantra. Ananda Dimani Bhutani Jayante. Translation. Indeed, it is from the all-blissful Supreme that all these creatures have come into being. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has further pointed out that when the Lord bestows his own self upon a pure devotee, such a fortunate devotee can actually see the Lord touch him and directly engage in his service. And so the whole section is very nice. There's several verses, one after the next, because this is an important teaching, important question. Amongst those many nice verses, there's one. Tasmat Guru Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreya Uta. This is describing the relationship, the activities in a relationship between the aspiring disciple and the spiritual master. So Tasmat means therefore. Tasmat Guru Prapadyeta. There's submission or surrender from the disciple to the guru. Jigyasu Shreya Uttama. Jigyasu means inquisitive. Shreya Uttama. Uttama, topmost, and Shreya means long-term benefit. I'm not a Sanskrit scholar, but I've heard Prabhupada so many times say there are these two things, prayas and shreyas. Prayas means short-term. Shreyas means long-term. And his explanation, like a child likes to play. Prayas. But the parents may say, okay, you like to play, but long-term, when you get old, you can't just play. You have to do your studies. So it's longer term. And then there's Shreya Uttama, ultimate. Jigyasu Shreya Uttama, that the relationship between disciple and spiritual master it's needed only when there is Jigyasu Shreya Uttama. Say it negatively. It's not needed if one wants something temporary. Now, there are necessities that are temporary: eating, sleeping, protecting. They're necessities. The spiritual master is needed to help train someone how to take care of eating, sleeping, and mating. There are ways to regulate each of those that lead towards the Shreya Uttama, but it's the inquisitiveness in the Shreya Uttama that is the essence of this relationship. And then so there's, from the disciple side, inquisitiveness and submission. So the first line, Tasmat Guru Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttama. And the third is Shabde Pare. This is a qualification of the Guru. Shabde, through the process of hearing, Shabde Pare, transcendence. Para in the vocative is pare. They've heard of transcendence. Shabde pare cha nishnatam. They fully assimilated it. Shabde pare cha nishnatam. Brahmani upasamashrayam. Upasamashrayam. And they, by their own life, they have come upasamashraya. They've come very near to the Supreme Lord, of the Absolute Truth. And because of that, just like this nice sage Prabhuda to Maharaj Nimi, the Supreme Lord gives himself to such person. And one who has received that gift from the Supreme Person can give the gift to others. You can't give what you don't have. And if you have, then it's natural you want to give. And one wants to give especially to those who are from this previous. Jigyasu Shreya Uttama. Tasmat Guru Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttama. They're inquisitive. They want to know. They want to know the absolute ultimate good of the living entity, or the absolute ultimate purpose of the living entity. Now, sometimes it happens that at a certain stage in life, one is more inquisitive, and after some time, it subsides. Bhakti Vinod Thakur calls this submission has slackened. And when submission slackens, inquisitiveness also slackens, and the sense of connectivity with the personality of Godhead also slackens. So this inquisitiveness into Jigyasu Shreya Uttama is a lifelong project. It's not a once upon a time I surrendered to Krishna. That was very nice. It's a lifelong project. And initiation is for those who have that interest. The idea there's the standards within ISKCON that kind of memorialize this principle, that after a certain period of time of practice of bhakti, one may become inquisitive to take shelter of a spiritual master. Tasmat Guru Papadyeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttama. So when that awakens, then there's our procedures, and one seeks shelter, and there's granting of shelter, and then there's a period of observing. Is someone going to continue in that submission and the enthusiastic effort? Because initiation is given to those who have that qualification. What I'm getting at is, it's a lifelong commitment. Initiation is not an event, but it's a lifelong commitment to achieve that higher purpose. Another nice verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasadi Bhai Bhakti Lata Bij. You know the verse. Bhakti Lata is the creeper of bhakti, and the bija, the seed of the creeper of bhakti, is something that's awarded. Question: is bhakti inherent or is bhakti inherited? It's inherent. So what is it that the bhakti lata bija that's given if bhakti is inherent? It's this, just as this little sage prabuddha to Maharaj it's the gift of giving remembrance of Krishna through awakening that which we have forgotten. That's the guru function. The disciple function is submission and service. The guru function, so Shabde Pareja Nishnatam, Brahmani Upashamashram, another often quoted verse in relation to initiation. Tad Vigyanartam, Sankuram Eva Abhigashet, Samatpani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Samatpani, it's like, just like when Krishna and Sudama Vipra went to school. At the school of Sandipani Muni. He engaged them in menial service. One was a Brahmin, the other was Krishna, Kshatriya, menial service to the Guru. Samatpani is holding firewood. So they went to the forest to gather firewood. It's just menial service, gather firewood for the yajna. Samatpani. That same position, tat vigyanartam, sagurum eva abhigashet, this inquisitiveness of wanting to know perfectly, not more or less, but wanting to know really what is one's eternal position. Tat vigyanartam, sagurum eva abhigashet. Again, I'm not a Sanskrit scholar, but I heard Prabhupada say this so many times. Abhigashet means it's must. There isn't an alternative to something that's must. So the must is approaching a spiritual master if you want to know the absolute truth. And the position of service, samatpani, so inquisitiveness, readiness to render service, which is an exhibition of submission, but submission is not just, it's from the heart, but it's also practical. Samatpani, Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam, that's describing the qualification of the spiritual master. Shrotriyam, they've heard. Brahmanishtam, they're fixed in transcendental knowledge. And so we're living in the material world, and there's lots of materialism all around. And, for some individuals or at a certain stage, it's like that's insufficient. That doesn't give the satisfaction and happiness and purpose of life that I want. And so inquiring into the alternative or the spiritual reality, then comes this event. And it's saying it again, it's an ongoing submission. Not only bhakti is already inherent, and the awakening of that which is already inherent is bestowed in the process of submission and reciprocation from the spiritual master. But the process of submission is an ongoing process. And so this spiritual life is meant, and initiation is meant for persons who are lifelong committed, and really ultimately finish up our business in this world. No more. That's high. But that's what spiritual life is meant for. And so there's a commitment. One last thing. There's a commitment from the disciple unto Krishna. The submission is unto Guru, but ultimately the submission is unto Krishna, because Guru is but a representative of Krishna. So the submission unto Krishna and Krishna's acceptance through the medium of Guru. In one lecture in New York, Prabhupada made a nice statement that this submission, once it's fulfilled, then the relationship is permanent. Here's a little statement Prabhupada made. I have accepted you as my disciple, and you have accepted me as your spiritual father. This relationship cannot be ended anymore. It is eternal. So that's eternal is big. The soul is eternal. The soul doesn't come in and go. And the relationship of spiritual master-disciple doesn't come and go. The relationship with Krishna doesn't come and go. It happens. Some persons slacken in submission, using Bhaktivinoda Thakur's language, but that doesn't break the relationship. The steps taken to restore one's relationship with Krishna, that's permanent. Even if later there's submission, there's slackening, but don't slacken. Complete your business in this life. That's the opportunity. Human form of life is awarded rarely. And amongst those in the human form of life to come to this position of submission unto Krishna through the medium of spiritual master, formalized by mantra, etc. It's on the pyramid. It's on the thinner part of the pyramid. So utilize the rest of your life properly. Don't slacken. No loss, but don't slacken. Finish your business. Is it possible? It's more than possible. Is it possible to slacken? It's common. Don't, because then Purnarjanma, not attractive. And to stay attracted to the all attractive, in essence, is the submission. So let's do this. There's going to be a first initiation and 2 second initiations, or Gayatri Mantra was given. Gayatri Mantra is another big topic. In Brahma Samhita and the commentaries on Brahma Samhita, it's described in length. So that's a nice place if you want to read a little bit more about Gayatri Mantra and Gayatri Mantra initiation and the benefits that come. The essence is in the Hare Krishna mantra, and the Gayatri mantras, they further enhance that which the Hare Krishna mantra gives. So it takes some refinement, and it takes some thoughtfulness and contemplation about the meaning of the mantras. The meaning of the Hare Krishna mantra we know. O energy of Krishna, Hare, please engage me in service to the Master, to the Father, to my source, to Krishna. It's a prayer to be engaged in service. And Gayatri mantras are same mode and just further details about the person unto whom one is surrendering or submitting. And it's a very responsible position to be in the world as a Brahmana. So one is meant to be an exemplary person by character, by speech, by example, because without that, the society is animal society, unguided, confused. So it's a responsible service. In addition to worshiping deity, it's a responsible function within society. So be aware, be conscious of what that responsibility is, not only unto yourself and your immediate family and friends, but to society in general. It's a very important function, a very important service to be taken seriously, along with one's own spiritual progress, the benefit that is to be distributed to the rest of society, and be ready, as circumstance requires, to guide, because that's part of what brahmanas are supposed to do. Give guidance to others, be the eye and the head of the rest of the social body. Not necessarily do, but to see, to understand, to speak, and then set the example. It's a good opportunity. It's a great opportunity, great responsibility, Brahminical initiation. So Ashwini, come so before the deity, offer obeisances to the deity. Okay. You know the procedure? Their vows. Okay. And 3 vows first. For the rest of your life, you'll complete your chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra how many times? Very good. The 4 rules that you'll follow.
No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit connection.
Okay. And as you've been doing, you continue for the rest of your life. Carefully follow Srila Prabhupada's teachings as best you can. Very good. Initiated name. Ananda Mohini Dasi. Name of Radharani. Ananda Mohini. So let's do the yajna. I beg your pardon? Okay, thank you.
Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Om Vishnu Prishaya Bhutale Mate Mukad Swami Tinamine
Swaha. Those of you initiates, take the small amount of grains, place them in the fire. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Swaha 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 Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Swaha 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 Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvitam Savadutam Parajana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakanvitangscha Saha Swaha Swaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Swaha 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 Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayataya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojvala Premadhyam Shri Rupa Nuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostate Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupa Nuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dvanta Harine Swaha 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 Namo Gaurakishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambarasambode Padambujayate Namaha Swaha 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 Namo Bhaktivinodaya Satchit Anandanamine Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupa Nuga Varayate Saha Swaha Swaha Gaura Virbhava Bhumistvam Nirdeshta Sajjana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Swaha 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 Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhobhya evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Swaha 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 Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvashe Namaha Swaha 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 Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktaropa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Swaha 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 Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Swaha 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 Jayatam Suratau Pangor Mama Manda Mater Gati Matsarvasvapadam Bhojo Radha Madana Mohano Saha 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 Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadaha Srimad Ratnagaram Singhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Prashtadibhi Sevyamano Smarami Swaha 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 Shriman Rasa Rasarambi Vangshi Vata Tata Stitaha Karshan Venusvanayar Gopir Gopinatha Shriyestunaha Swaha 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 Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Swaha 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 Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Swaha 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Swaha Swaha Swaha. Final mantra, standing with your banana in your hand. Gently, at the end, you place in the fire when I say the mantra. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya namo namaha. Swaha. Banana in the fire. Swaha. Swaha. Who is our kirtan person in this assembly?
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine.